Welcome to a new Bitcoin Books video. Today, we're diving into a mind-bending thesis that reframes everything you thought you knew about Bitcoin. Let's start with a really provocative idea, one that challenges the very foundation of how we see this technology. What if its main purpose isn't financial, but actually something far more primal? And this is the central claim from Jason Lowery, an officer in the U.S. Space Force, in his groundbreaking MIT thesis. He's basically arguing that we've been looking at Bitcoin all wrong. We've been so blinded by the money aspect that we've missed its true strategic importance.
So, to really unpack this radical claim, we've got a clear roadmap. First, we'll dig into the theory itself. Then we'll explore the fundamental nature of power, see why old systems always seem to fail, and then show how Bitcoin emerges as this totally new solution, creating a strategic landscape nobody saw coming.
Okay, let's dive right in. This first section really sets the stage for this new theory of power. And what's wild is that it actually has roots in some incredible predictions made over a century ago.
So Lowery's idea isn't coming out of nowhere. It's really the culmination of these visionary concepts. You've got Tesla 100 years ago predicting a future where energy itself used by machines would decide conflicts. And around the same time, Henry Ford was proposing that a currency based on energy could actually get rid of the main reasons for war. Lowery's thesis is that Bitcoin is the unexpected arrival of that very technology.
To really get this, we have to first understand the two fundamental types of power that govern all of human society. Honestly, this is the bedrock of the entire argument.
This slide really gets to the heart of it. On one side, you have physical power. Think pure energy, watts, things governed by the laws of physics. It's real, it's impartial, and you absolutely cannot create it from thin air. On the other side, you've got abstract power, things like laws, social status, political authority. This stuff only exists because we all collectively agree it does. It needs trust to function, and as history shows us time and again, it can be manipulated.
So here's the crucial point. Our societies run on that abstract power, but physical power is always the final judge when those abstract systems fail, and according to this thesis, they are pretty much designed to fail.
You see, our systems of government and law, which are built on that abstract, belief-based power, they have this fatal, repeating cycle. It starts with us having to trust a ruling class. But then, that very system can be exploited by those in charge. And when trust breaks down completely, the abstract rules become meaningless, and society falls back to the only thing left to settle the score.
Yup, when those abstract systems break down, history shows there has only ever been one final impartial judge: raw physical conflict. War has been the ultimate trustless protocol to resolve disputes that just can't be settled by agreement.
For centuries, war was kind of the reset button, the way to decentralize power. But today, we're in this unprecedented, really dangerous stalemate. Lowery calls this the kinetic ceiling. Basically, with the invention of nuclear weapons, large-scale physical conflict became so destructive that it's no longer a viable option. This mutually assured destruction takes away the final check on power, leaving the world vulnerable to a kind of global tyranny with no physical way to fight back.
So, if kinetic war is off the table, how can humanity compete physically without destroying itself? This brings us to the core of the thesis, Bitcoin as an entirely new form of conflict resolution.
Lowery actually introduces a new term for this new kind of conflict, one fought with watts instead of weapons. He calls it Softwar. It's a way to impose real physical costs through energy spending in the digital world, allowing for competition without physical violence.
This analogy really makes the concept click. Think of two deer locking antlers. They're in a contest of pure physical strength, but the antlers themselves are designed to prevent a lethal outcome. The competition establishes who's stronger, but it doesn't destroy the participants. The thesis argues that Bitcoin's proof of work is basically a form of human antlers for our digital age. This new way of thinking really requires a new vocabulary. The thesis suggests we stop thinking in terms of Bitcoin, the money, and we start thinking in terms of bit power. And this term more accurately describes what's actually being created: digital information that is verifiably scarce and costly because it is anchored to a real-world expenditure of physical energy.
And this just brilliantly illustrates the ultimate outcome of this new form of competition. Unlike kinetic war, which leads to mutually assured destruction, or MAD, the thesis argues that Softwar leads to mutually assured preservation, or MAP.
See, in software, when competitors strengthen themselves, they don't destroy each other. They actually make the entire network more secure for everyone. Let's see how this builds a completely new strategic reality.
This reframing lets us see the whole debate between proof of work and proof of stake in a completely new light, and it connects right back to our core concepts. Proof of work is a system of physical power. It's rooted in verifiable energy costs from the outside world. Proof of stake, though, that's a system of abstract power. Control is given to the biggest stakeholders, which just replicates the exact same trust-based, easily exploited model of the old systems it's supposed to replace.
Bitcoin's network is always getting criticized for its energy use, but this thesis argues that's its most important feature. This quote just captures it perfectly. Bitcoin isn't meant to be efficient. Its massive, deliberate inefficiency is exactly what anchors the abstract world of digital information to the unforgiving reality of physics, making bit power real.
So when you look at Bitcoin through this strategic lens, it leads to a very clear set of recommendations for national leaders. The thesis urges them to stop seeing Bitcoin as just a financial toy and to recognize it as a strategic technology. It suggests accumulating bit power as a strategic reserve and treating mining infrastructure as a vital national asset. And to ban it? Well, that would be like unilateral disarmament in this completely new domain of conflict.
Which leaves us with a final, pretty sobering thought about the future of digital power. If this thesis is correct, and a new form of physical power projection is actually emerging, then any nation that ignores it or outlaws it might be willingly giving up its ability to compete and defend itself in the 21st century.
For those who want to learn more, the link to get the book is available in the video description. If you found this content interesting, please subscribe to the channel and like it to help us reach as many people as possible. Thank you.